How long does it take to form a new habit? Is it 21 days, 30 days, or is there more to the story? Most of us have heard these numbers before, but the truth is, habit formation doesn't work on a fixed timeline. It's not about the number of days, it's about the number of repetitions. And more often than not, what holds us back from taking those actions is a fear of failure. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Grow, your go-to place for leveling up your mind and life. In today's video, we're diving into Chapter 11 of Atomic Habits by James Clear. This chapter begins a new segment, focusing on the third law of behavior change, make it easy. In this chapter, we'll break down why motion often disguises itself as action and keeps us stuck, how habit formation is all about frequency, not time, and how repetitions rewire our brains to make habits automatic. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap for how to build habits that actually stick without getting caught in the trap of endless planning. We all want to build good habits, right? But many of us spend too much time preparing and not enough time doing. We tell ourselves we need the perfect workout plan before we hit the gym, or the best productivity system before we start working. This is what Clear calls motion. Motion is when we plan, strategize, or research. It feels productive and is good to do, but it doesn't create real results. Action, on the other hand, is what actually drives change. Motion is writing up 20 different workout routines. Action is doing 10 push-ups right now. Motion is reading books about writing. Action is actually sitting down and writing a paragraph. So why do we stay in motion? Sometimes we do it because we actually need to plan or learn more, but more often than not, we do it because motion allows us to feel like we're making progress without running the risk of failure. Most of us are experts at avoiding criticism. It doesn't feel good to fail or to be judged, so we tend to avoid situations where that might happen. And that's the biggest reason why we slip into motion rather than taking action. We want to delay failure. This brings us to one of the biggest myths about habits, the idea that it takes 21 days to build one. In reality, habit formation is not about time, it's about frequency. Every habit we have, good or bad, was formed through repetition. The more we repeat a behavior, the stronger the neural pathways become in our brains. Neuroscientists call this long-term potentiation, which refers to the strengthening of connections between neurons in the brain based on recent patterns of activity. With each repetition, cell-to-cell signaling improves and the neural connections tighten. Think of it this way. If you're learning to play guitar, it doesn't matter if you're practicing 30 days straight. What matters is how many times you actually pick up the guitar and play. The same applies to fitness, studying, writing, or any skill. You improve by doing, not by waiting. All habits follow a similar trajectory from effortful practice to automatic behavior, a process known as automaticity. Automaticity is the ability to perform a behavior without thinking about each step, which occurs when the non-conscious mind takes over. At first, every new habit requires conscious effort, but with enough reps, it gets easier and more automatic. Eventually, you cross a threshold where the habit happens with little effort. That's the habit line. This is when working out feels natural, waking up early becomes automatic, or eating healthy is just what you do. The key is to keep showing up until you cross this threshold. The mistake many of us make is giving up before we get there. So, back to the big question. How long does it take to build a habit? The real answer is it depends on how often you do it. A habit isn't built in 21 days. It's built by repetitions. The more frequently you perform a habit, the stronger it becomes. So instead of focusing on how many days have passed, focus on how many times you've actually done the habit. Repetition creates automaticity. Automaticity creates mastery. So what's the key takeaway from chapter 11? Just start. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop worrying about failure. Just take action, because every rep gets you closer to crossing the habit line. In the following videos, we're going to dive deeper into the third law of behavior change, which is make it easy. This will give us strategies that make habits effortless, so we can stay consistent without relying on willpower. And that's a wrap on chapter 11 of Atomic Habits. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content on leveling up your mind and life. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep growing.